So the evolution of an idea, it started in 1999 when I met with the president of Wadsworth Publishing, which is a major communication publisher in the US, and now it is Cengage Wadsworth. And she asked me to work on a textbook, mainly a global communication textbook. I took up the idea and started working on that, and the book was published in 2002, the first edition. So as you know, global communication is rapidly evolving, changing. So by the time a book is published, information is outdated. One of the challenges was, how do I update faculty, students who use the book? And the book, you know, the second edition has been released, and it has also been translated into Chinese, and the key textbook in China is global communication. And the second edition there has also been released as well. And in order to keep the students and instructors up to date, I established a resource, a website called Global Media Monitor. So Global Media Monitor can be used by instructors and students to keep up to date with the information contained in the book. And each chapter refers to this site as well. So although this focuses on mainly global communication and global media, I said, well, this is not sufficient, because again, from my perspective, everything is interconnected, interrelated. So I established another website called My Global Village. My Global Village is your global village. And in this website, again, a resource site, we have included information about education, health, environment, science. So we go beyond media, communication, and globalization to help educators and the students. Again, the key is to share information and to make it easy and available to instructors and students to access the information. And then in 2000, 4 universities, my university, Purdue University, Calumet, University of Texas, and Southern Illinois and Ohio, we established the Global Fusion Consortium. Chancellor Howard Cohen, who is here, he attended one of the conferences that we had in Chicago, a very successful conference in downtown Chicago, and gave a keynote speech, I think, there. So we had those conferences, annual conferences, for 7 years. It is still continuing. And then we had, you see, it's what I call the snowball effect, you see. And then I said, well, there still needs to be more. Hence the idea of establishing the Global Media Journal. The first issue of Global Media Journal came out in fall of 2002. And now that I'm standing here, we have 17 independent editions throughout the world. And GMJ is breaking new grounds, new directions in communication and publication and research. These are the existing editions. I have to note that these various editions stand alone. They are not translations. Each edition has its own editor, its own advisory board, and they publish original research written by scholars and professionals in those countries. So we have the American edition at Purdue University, Calumet. We have African edition. And if you have internet, or when you get a chance, you can visit the website and look at the various editions. Have the Arabic edition, Australian edition. All of them, you notice, are hosted by major universities. Canadian edition. One of the positive aspects of digital technology and digital publications is that they give us a lot of flexibility. For instance, the Canadian edition, when you visit that edition, on the first page, it gives you two options. Do you want to view it in French or in English? You click. I mean, you can have 5 languages. You can have 10 languages, right? I mean, think of the possibilities. And in the future, as the translators, electronic translators are becoming better and better, we are going to incorporate translators into each edition. So when you go to the Russian edition, you can use the translator and learn about the articles contained in that edition. I can give another presentation about the advantages of the digital publications, but this is not the place to do that, okay? So a tremendous amount of flexibility. And the Chinese publish the journal in print and also online simultaneously. You see, there you have two models that are very different from the traditional publication. We have the Indian edition at Calcutta University, Mediterranean edition, the Persian edition, University of Tehran, Pakistani edition, Polish edition, and the editor of the Polish edition, Tomasz Poldowski, is here, sitting in the back there. I encourage you to join him and join the advisory board and contribute to the Polish edition. And again, teamwork. We are talking about teamwork and cooperation. And the Mexican edition and the Turkish edition, Brazilian edition, German edition, Malaysian edition will be inaugurated shortly. And Rasila is here from Malaysia. Hopefully the first issue would be in place by next year when we are in Kuala Lumpur. And then the Russian edition is at the Southern Federal University, and Spanish, Portuguese are coming up. So soon, within the next few months, we'll have 20 editions of this journal. It is rapidly growing. That indicates that we are up to something important. So that's one element. And then, this is, I mentioned the global fusion. These are some of the editors of the journal who were at the conference in Chicago. And then for each edition, we had wonderful inaugural ceremonies. And this is the Chinese edition at Tsinghua University in Beijing. We have Indian edition, wonderful. Look at the audience there. There were hundreds of people. The auditorium was packed. Wonderful ceremony there. The Canadian edition, the same, was a very successful event, and so forth. Now, another unique thing that we did was, because some people still like to see articles and research results in print, so I worked with a publisher. Now, every 2 years, we publish the refereed papers published in the American edition in book format. So we have created a GMJ book series. We have already published 2 for libraries or those who like to have a paper copy. And then, I established a global media studies with the State University of New York, and these are some of the books published under that series. And then, with my good friend, Kamran Mofid, Chancellor has met him, I think it was in Oman, and so Dr. Obaid Al-Shaksi from Oman, who is here, sitting in front, they have met him, and together we do another annual conference. It's called Globalization for the Common Good. Now, this conference really focuses on intercultural and international and interfaith issues. a very successful conference, and our next conference, the 10th conference, will be next year in Alexandria, Egypt. Okay? And together we have also established a journal called the Journal of Globalization for the Common Good. You see the emphasis that you pay attention to the emphasis. Common good. Whatever is for the common good, we are for that. Okay? So that's another event, and that journal was inaugurated in Hawaii in 2006. And then I have published many books. These are some of the examples in the area of global media studies. And this one received, in 1996, the Book of the Year Award from National Communication Association, and some of them have been translated into other languages. And the most recent book is this one, came out last week, in fact, Media, Power and Politics in the Digital Age. And it's about a controversial presidential election in Iran. And then we continue, right? Snowball effect. And then I established the Center for Global Studies at Purdue University. Again, we do panels and we do, host speeches and so forth. And then comes Global Communication Association, inaugurated in Shanghai. Shanghai University did a wonderful job. It was a fantastic conference in cooperation with Tsinghua University, Shanghai, Beijing, Foreign Studies University, Purdue, and Duke University. It was a tremendous start. And these are some of the images from that conference, the inaugural conference, and some of the attendees. You see, we had altogether nearly about 200 attendees at the inaugural ceremony. And many of those have attended the previous conferences. And some of them could not come to this because they couldn't get the visa, especially the Chinese. And this is the conference in Oman, Sultan Qaboos University. Again, Dr. Obaid al-Shaksi is sitting right here. He did a wonderful job of organizing that successful conference in October 2008. And then last year we were in India. Again, another wonderful, highly successful, visible, highly publicized conference in India. And in the middle, you see the governor of the state in India, who gave a marvelous presentation at the opening ceremony. Again, hundreds were in attendance, a lot of media coverage. And you can see the banner in the back, right? And I think you were in attendance there. So you see, people who come to these conferences, they realize what we are doing. And they spread the word and they continue to support. This is the only way to move ahead, to grow, and to have a positive impact on the future of education and hopefully the future of the world.